we provide up to 100% of assistance. So for example, okay, last September when Expotech, the biggest conference, it used to be the biggest ICT conference, now it's the biggest conference in Palestine. We started that back in 2005, and now this year we expanded it by maybe 3 or 4 folds. We invited all the multinationals, we held several workshops, sessions, investment sessions. So I don't want to talk more about my organization, I want to talk about the sector itself.
Yeah, in general.
The sector is really right now is really leading. It's really leading in terms of employment, in terms of bringing new ideas, and with connections with international companies.
What do you have any statistics, like, for example, how many IT companies, roughly? Just to give us an idea how big this market is.
I would say, I think, now we have, we still haven't started. We have the Palestinian Information Technology Association, called PITA. PITA is the association that represents all the Palestinian ICT companies. Mm-hmm. It has, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 85 members. 85
member companies.
Yeah. You might have a few out of that association, not represented by the association, but so I would say 100 plus or 100 minus companies in this sector.
The geographic distribution, where are they mainly located?
Okay, yeah, sure. Fair question, and I think obvious answer. The main concentration is around Ramallah. I would say more than 50% is in Ramallah, some in Gaza and others, a small number in Nablus, and another smaller number in Hebron, but the concentration in Ramallah. Yeah. Now, the workforce is around, in the IT sector, in the ICT sector, is around 5,500 employees. Now, those are
5,500.
Yeah, 5,500 working in the sector. Mm-hmm. Now you have other IT personnel working in other sectors as support for each bank you have an IT department, each logistic company have an IT department. So the workforce in the IT field is about 5,500. Yeah. The contribution to GDP is around 6.5%.
6.5%.
Yeah, around. It ranges from 250 to 280 million dollars.
Sorry,
250 to 280.
280,000.
Million. Yeah. GDP is around 4.5 billion. The Palestinian GDP is around 4.5 billion dollars.
And where would you say the 250 to 280 million coming from? Is it from the internally from the local economy?
A huge portion. Sure.
Because I'm
Thank you.
I'm
great
not
question.
interrogating you. I'm just
because
one of the projects I would like.
It's a great question, and thank you for raising that, because it might be misleading if we say, and I'm sorry for that, if we say that the IT sector contributes to $280 million, because a large portion of that comes from the telecom companies.
Yes.
From Jawal, who's the mobile operator, from Palestine, who's the fixed line operator, Hadara, who's the internet provider. I would say the IT industry, in terms of outsourcing, software development, and non-telecom functions, is about $15 million.
15 million.
Yeah, most of it are exports. If not all of it.
Yeah, so from outside.
Yeah, most of it are exports.
So it's contributing actually $15 million.
Exactly.
Being contributed to the economy.
Exactly. So instead of exporting olive oil,
yes.
Okay, we're exporting services.
One of the I'm a personal friend of Sabri Saidan and Dr. Osama as well, who's behind us. One of the things that he was mad about before he came to Palestine, and as me too as well, but unfortunately he made it here, and I didn't, was to create an IT economy in Palestine similar to what they did in India. India now, their number one export is software, is IT. And the beauty of that is that you're not subject to borders and to armies and to checkpoints and to all the issues associated with producing olives or wine or anything else. And I think one of the biggest, I don't want to use the word crime, but one of the biggest failings of the Palestinian, of the PA and even the private sector as well. And a a lot of the donor, either whether they are countries or organizations, is to totally overlook this sector, because I think it would have created an amazing economy. And for example, my company in London, we outsource people from India, from Ukraine, from Russia, from Brazil, from so many different countries. And the biggest challenge always the time zone. So Palestine is actually more suitable than anybody else, time zone wise, to work with Europe and America than India.
Definitely.
Or than any other place. And also, I remember during my studies in America, the Palestinians, we had huge, there are a lot of people who were going to, to study computer technology in America and everywhere. At one point, every single Palestinian university student overseas was studying IT. Yet, we totally failed to make any investment, any proper investment in this. And we failed to even, follow the Indian model or any other model. And I think we're still failing until this minute. So one of the projects that maybe the Palestinian Network that we could propose is to do that, is to encourage that. I love. It's great that Cisco and Microsoft was involved at one point, but unfortunately they have taken a lot of the focus on IT in Palestine, Jordan, Egypt against the world. The world is open source. The world is PHP and MySQL,
Right.
and not .NET and not obscure PHP and SharePoint technology and a lot. I'm always shouting. I want to hire Palestinians, whether they are in Jordan or in Palestine, and I could never find a single suitable person. So it is important that these initiatives don't come from giant companies, because each one of them has its own agenda. Cisco, they don't do it for, they do it for their benefit, and I'm not blaming them. Everybody does it for their own agenda. There should be a kind of a national agenda, or not a national, but at least the Palestine Network should draw a project. Maybe we could do it together, or all of us. You are in IT as well. Are you in IT? Are you involved in IT?
No.
No.
I'm an electrical engineer.
Well, close enough.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, me too, but still.
But he's an engineer as well. Which is, to make there's so much that we could do to bring real value to the economy here, doing that as well. But again, the focus, we'll have to do a program where the focus switches to where the proper value is, the right technology, using the right technology, train students on the right technology, not just get degrees and get out of the country. I know like Birzeit is graduating a lot of impressive people from here in IT, but a lot of them, the minute they finish, they are in Dubai.
Yes.
So this is how would you suggest? I mean, you worked in the IT industry, but and also now you're working from the other side, kind of. So
this is the beauty.
and you're very qualified to kind of help us.
Sure.
A very short action plan.
But I would say IT in Palestine would only flourish with more outsourcing contracts, at least for the next 2 or 3 years.